Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of our Premier League predictions. If you haven't watched part 1, obviously go back and watch that first, because who starts with part 2 on absolutely anything?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're back, and we finished 11th place, didn't we? So you're going to do your 10th place.
Alright, so in 10th place, if Harry hasn't guessed already, I just think this team will be here because of the form at the start of the season. Aston Villa. Aston Villa in 10th. I feel like they'll have enough. They've started off with a very good form. Very good form. They thrashed Liverpool 7-2.
Not an easy fight.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna carry on their form, but they're not gonna have enough form to get into your European competition spot. So I just think they'll come at a very mid-table 10th place.
Very well. In 10th place, I have got Southampton, because I know Jack put them lower. Obviously, they came about 10th last season, somewhere about there, I think. Very, very good manager. Let's not underestimate this. Remember last year when they lost 9-0 to Leicester?
Oh, yeah.
And then after that, they just rocketed it up with their manager, Ralph Hasenhüttl. Obviously, he's going to just guide them up that table, honestly. I can see them. Yes, I can see them losing to some of the lower teams, but I can also see them beating some of the Champions League teams and getting the odd result against them. All in all, very mid-table team. They've got Danny Ings. Obviously, was he the Golden Boot?
No.
No, he wasn't. Who was?
Jamie Vardy.
Oh yeah,
I
Golden
think
Boot.
Aubameyang was second.
All right, but Danny Ings scored a lot of goals this season, so that's why I've got them 10th, an experienced manager and people who can bang in the goals, really.
Right, in 9th position, I have Leicester City, because I don't know, all the other teams I've put above them are just better than Leicester. They had good form before the lockdown. After lockdown, they just absolutely, it was like a sinking ship for Leicester City after lockdown. No fans at the stadium. It was just a car crash, wasn't it? They just dropped their form really badly. They gave up their 4th position to Man United and Chelsea. Very disappointing, and that's why I put them in 9th.
I've got Everton in 9th. Obviously, what?
You'll be surprised where I put Everton if you're putting him in 9th.
All right, I put Everton in 9th. Obviously, they've got an experienced manager, Ralph. What am I on about? Carlo Ancelotti. And obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jordan Pickford's a good goalkeeper, got a good backline, a solid midfield, and obviously the strikers are top class like Richarlison and stuff. I just think they're better than Southampton, but I don't think they're as good as teams above them, and I just don't think they can reach the Europa League. And maybe another year, especially if they come in the top 10 this year, maybe another year, and they'll be really challenging for that top 6 spot. So, who have you got in 8th?
Right, in 8th, I have Wolves. I was debating really between Arsenal and Wolves there. I guess you could kind of guess who I put in 7th, but in 8th it's Wolves. They had a really good season. I feel like they're one of those teams that are always just destined for the Europa League, really. Is it 8th Europa League position? I think it might be. I just think, yeah, they bought a few good players. Nelson Semedo, that Silva guy up top. 2 good Portuguese players. I think they bought someone else as well. It's only going to improve their squad.
We've got Pedro Neto, who looks pretty good as well.
Yeah, he's a good youngster. They got rid of Doherty, but they did replace him with Nelson Semedo. So I feel like they'll have a good season.
Yeah, in 8th place, I have got Leicester. Obviously, Jack put him in 9th, so 1 place above. It's not really much, is it? So
No.
Leicester in 8th for me. All the points Jack really made, I guess. Good manager, Claude Puel. Is it that? Is he been said?
What, Leicester?
Yeah.
No, it's Brendan Rodgers.
Oh, what am I doing? It's Brendan Rodgers, obviously. I just don't know anything about football, do I? So I'm just rubbish. Yeah, obviously Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, he rocketed them up the table early last season, and then after lockdown came, they went straight back down, and they gave up the Champions League spot to settle for a Europa League spot, I guess. It happened to Burnley the other year, I guess. when they were in the Europa League, Burnley the other year, their Premier League form went down, and I wonder whether the same thing will happen to Leicester. You know, whether because they're in the Europa League, they'll try the hardest in that, and they just won't settle with the Prem. So I can actually see them dropping out of the top 10, but I don't think that'll happen. So I've put them in a solid 8th place.
Right, in 7th place, if you haven't guessed that, then I've got Arsenal. I mean, they could be higher, to be fair, but I feel like all the teams above Arsenal are better, similar with Leicester. I don't know, they bought Thomas Partey, really good signing. I mean, I hope he'd come to Man U. I mean, he would want to go from a Champions League team to Europa League team. I mean, Arsenal, what can I say about them? 8th position last season. I mean, I can't see them coming out in 7th. They're a bit rubbish. I mean, Aubameyang's just gonna carry them again. The defence is just hot trash. Mustafi, David Luiz. I mean, Tierney's all right. They've got what's that guy? Socrates. I mean, the midfield's all right. Mesut Ozil. Nah. Pepe, £70 million flop. Nah, I can't see them coming higher than 7th. 7th for me, Arsenal.
Right, in 7th place, I got Spurs.
Oof.
I got Spurs, me mate. Oh, well, I know Jose Mourinho, he's obviously a good manager, won the league with Chelsea. Did pretty well at Manchester United, didn't really hit top gear though.
Came second in his first season, didn't he?
Alright, calm down. Yeah, but the players Spurs have, especially if they lose a couple of players to injury. They've got Son, really good player. They've got Kane, really good player again. But all the teams that I've put above them, I can have an argument to see they could beat them in the league. Why they could beat them in the league? Their defence isn't the greatest now, especially since Vertonghen's gone. Obviously, Lloris hasn't done too great in recent years. He's obviously been downgraded a little bit. The midfield, obviously strong midfield in players like Son and Dele Alli and players like that, and Bergwijn, who Jack loves, apparently.
I like Bergwijn.
Kane up front can score. They just haven't got that stuff for me, really. And I think they might just miss out on a Europa League spot, but they do obviously have the strength to prove me wrong and get higher up the table, really.
Right,
We're moving in 6th into Europa League, aren't we?
I mean, I'm not going to be a biased fan. I've got Man U in 6th. I mean, what can you say about Man U, man? Missing out on Jadon Sancho, Jack Grealish, Upamecano. This is just a shit show, really. Honestly, Man U, I mean, they replaced Jadon Sancho with Pellistri, a random Uruguayan guy. I mean, they bought Cavani. And they gave him the number 7 shirt. I can't believe it. Donny van der Beek doesn't even start. He's on the bench. It's just horrible. I mean, a 6-1 thrashing to Tottenham Hotspur. It really hurt me. It really hurt me. I mean, you could say they even got lucky coming 3rd last season. I mean, they did beat PSG. I mean, I feel like that's the start of something good. Once again, the night in Paris 2 years ago. Just get flashbacks from that moment. But in 6th, Man United. I don't know. Harry Maguire's got to go. I feel, nah. Paul Pogba's rubbish. Bruno Fernandes is going to carry Man U to the 6th position.
Fair enough. In 6th place, I have got Wolves. You might think that's a bit higher, but they did do very well last season. Where did they come last season?
I think they came 7th.
7th, yeah. So I've improving with players such as Ruben Neves they've kept, Adama Traore they've kept. Jimenez up front can score absolute worldies. Rui Patricio in goal, save most things. They've just got a really, really solid squad. You might argue that Tottenham do have a better squad, and they probably do. But it's the fact that Nuno Espirito Santo he brought Wolves up a couple of years ago, and he's just took them up to a really well done Premier League team. A bit like Sheffield United last season, but he's just done that bits for me, really. I mean, he's just done that bits for Wolves. What more can I say? He's just a really solid Premier League team now. They've really established themselves in the top division of English football.
Yeah. So in 5th, I have Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, they've got a good squad, haven't they? Kane and Son have got good form. Bergwijn, one of my favourite players. I mean, he's just so good, isn't he? I mean, they've got a really decent squad. They're strengthening the right back with Doherty. I mean, they strengthened left back with Regulion. He should have come to Man U, but you know, Man U, Ed Woodward, absolute shocking. I mean, Tottenham, they're pretty good this season. I mean, Ndombele, he'll do good. I think he's still a good youngster for the future. Tottenham, yeah, 5th for me, 5th.
Okay, and we're going to come back with another break after I do my 5th place spot. And then we'll obviously do the Champions League as part 3. But in 5th place, missing out on the Champions League spot. They got into the Champions League last season. In 5th place, I put Chelsea.
Oh.
You might argue that is a shocking decision. But I put Chelsea in 5th place. Frank Lampard, I know Chelsea and most teams do like to bring in a manager that did play for the club just because they know the club inside out. He did decent for them last season. They got knocked down a peg to 4th, even though they were 3rd for most of the season. They do have that strength. They can beat most of the teams below them. They will lose to a couple of teams below them. I know Bournemouth beat them last season and they got relegated in the end, and they only managed to scrape draws against some of the lower teams. And then all the teams above them in the Champions League, I think I can also make arguments that they will manage to beat Chelsea at some point this season. So that's why I put Chelsea in 5th, just to miss out on his Champions League spot. They're in the Champions League this year though, so hopefully Chelsea fans, I'm sorry for where I put you, but go and prove me wrong, Chelsea. So we're going to come back with a break, and part 3, we'll be right back to show you our Champions League placings.